Welcome in, race fans, to another Tuesday night right here on the Royalty Racing Network. I am your host tonight, Brandon Massey, where tonight we're going to be live with the Top Tier Racing League, the Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Cup Series, and it's week 20. All the dice has been rolled. All the chips have been pushed in, and tonight we crown a champion. And of those gentlemen battling for a championship, mathematically, tonight comes down to two drivers. Tonight, it comes down to Dylan Canova and Christian Proctor. Everybody else has been mathematically eliminated. So from Matt Baines on down, they have been mathematically eliminated from the chances of winning a championship. But it does come down to two drivers. It comes down to Dylan Canova. It comes down to last week's race winner, Christian Proctor. You can see the points up there on top of the board right now. 16 points is the difference. Now, let me break down the points for you real quick. It's a point per position, a bonus point for leading a lap, a bonus point for leading the most laps, a bonus point for having the fastest lap logged of the race. Right now, I'm showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm showing 13 drivers signed in with 3 bonus points. That would be the 16 points needed for for Christian Proctor. However, Dylan Canova would have to finish last. Now, one thing to remember is there were some drivers unhappy last week. Right? There was a couple drivers, a little bit of drama floating around, and a couple drivers a little bit unhappy last week. So we're going to keep an eye on all that action, and we'll see how everything plays out. But right now, atop the qualifying board is your current points leader in Dylan Canova. You can see Nick Raffini jumps up to a quick second. Christian Proctor right there, P3. So the top two right now in points is first and third on the speed charts. Most of everybody has laid down a couple laps. We have a couple of drivers back with us tonight. We haven't seen in a couple of weeks. Drafty's back in action tonight. We haven't seen him in a few weeks. He took some time off, stepped away from racing. You can see there's that beautiful 71 of Kenny Kuko right there. Kenny goes to P4 quick right now. Now, I wish I had some things to discuss with you about next season, but I don't have anything to discuss with you about next season. All that information will be put out into the Discord for the drivers, so stay tuned for all that information for all the drivers back home. Let's get into some race info for tonight. Let's take a look at it tonight. We're going to be at Las Vegas. It is championship night. Right now, the weather shows 85 degrees, 9% relative humidity. Clear skies, quite gusty winds out there, 15 mile an hour. The track temperature, though, is 125 degrees. I've seen drivers slipping and sliding around turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So that's going to be a lot of fun to keep an eye on. We'll get the ticker bar back up so everybody can see. But right now, they're in the qualifying area. We'll see. Brock Morris right here just went to P2. You can see beautifully inspired Las Vegas paint scheme on the side of this machine. Looks fantastic. I seen him share it in Discord. Looks really, really good. Let's take a look over to chat and see if there's anybody. I see Rachel. Rachel's in here. It says go JD. I can bank on that every single week. I do want to let everybody know that if you are out there watching right now, I have a severe weather warning floating through my area. I've seen the lights flicker once before we went live. And I grabbed Kenny Kuko real quick and I said, Kenny, if by chance that I happen to lose power, save a replay. And I'm going to go back and do a broadcast with the replay. So you'll get to see the race one way or another, whether it's recorded or we make it through the duration of the event live tonight. Either way, we will make sure that it gets put out there. I'm hoping that you all hope that we get through the night so we can crown a champion, and then we can start preparing for the next season. All those types of things. That's what I'm hoping for. All right. Qualifying is over. Dylan Canova will start on pole. Excuse me. I think I can show the qualifying results real quick. I can. So this is how they'll line up. Dylan Canova, Brock Morris, Nick Raffini. Nick's had a lot of speed over the last couple of weeks. Christian Proctor, Kenny Kuko, Matt Baines, Jacob Wilson, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Davis Shively, Drafty's back, JD Van Kirk, Robert Altman, Jake Raven. That's going to be the 13 drivers signed in. You can see no time submitted for Jake. A little bit of a low car count in the last couple of weeks. I talked to Kenny about that too. And for the race fans at home, I just want you to know, I appreciate that, Rachel. Thank you so much. I just want you all to know that this typically happens. This is a very typical thing, right? In racing leagues, especially on the iRacing service, that it says Matt Baines left the pit. There he is. It's a very normal thing, right? The drive, like the car counts go down. If you have a playoff style system, a chase format, the numbers go down when drivers don't make it. They don't feel like they have anything to race for, etc., so on and so forth. That is a very typical type thing. So it's kind of expected, right? I've been in a lot of leagues and a part of a lot of leagues, and that's just kind of an expected type of thing. So hats off to the 13 drivers we have signed in here tonight. Hopefully we see a good race here in Las Vegas. Absolutely love this place. I love racing here. This track has a lot of characteristics to it, right? Especially down in 1 and 2, turns 1 and 2. And I'll see if I can point those out to you as we get started into the race here tonight. But there's some bumps on the high side of 1 and 2 that will just absolutely upset the car and pitch it plummet to the outside wall. And then there's some bumps. It's really rough down in this portion. You can see the kind of the car right there. Yeah, it's just rough. And so there's some bumps and whatnot down in turns 1 and 2. And that was a really cool shot, by the way. That was Brock Morris and Christian Proctor coming off the exit of turn 2, and them cars just plumb sideways. So tire management's going to be key tonight. Just keep an eye on that. But a lot of characteristics to this mile-and-a-half racetrack here at Las Vegas that puts on a really, really good show. I'm hoping we get a really, really good show tonight. Yeah, look at that. Them cars are just plumb sideways off the corner. This is going to be a lot of fun. This man right here, though, just has to survive, right? He can finish 12th and win the championship. He's just got to survive. This gentleman right here, though, Christian Proctor, he's got to win the race. He's got to lead every lap. Not every lap. Lead the most laps. Have the fastest lap to gain those 3 bonus points. And try to set himself up to win a championship. Well, at least tie. Now, in the event of a tie, I'm not sure how the tiebreaker works or who it would even go to. That is not being made very clear to me, but we'll see how the night shakes out. But I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight. We've been calling action for these guys for the past 8 weeks. I've been up here in the booth, and it's been a lot of fun. Look how loose those race cars are off on exit. That's just absolutely insane. So yeah, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a fun night. Tonight we're going to crown a champion. I'm excited about it. Like I said, all the dice has been rolled. All the chips have been pushed in. 19 previous weeks, these drivers have been battling. Almost 5 months worth of racing. 20 weeks. 5 months worth of racing. Right? Is that right? That's right, right? That's a lot. A lot of racing. On pole, driving the number 70 out of the revved up racing camp, it's going to be Dylan Canova. Starting outside pole, the driver of the 05, the Corn Dog Designs, Brock Morris. Starting third, driver the number 04, National Guard Chevrolet, Nick Raffini. Starting fourth, driver the number 13, that Hello Kitty painted purple machine's going to be Christian Proctor. Starting fifth, driving the number 71 is going to be Kenny Kuko. Starting sixth, driving the number 72, Royalty Motorsports purple machine, it's going to be Matt Baines. Starting in the seventh position, driver of the number 51 is going to be Jacob Wilson. Starting eighth, driver of the number 44, Revved Up Racing's Jorge Ledesma Jr. Starting ninth, driving the number 85 is going to be Davis Shively. Starting 10th, driving the number 2, Drafty Beef. Starting 11th, driver of the number 22, J.D. Van Kirk. Starting 12th, driver of the number 94, Robert Altman. Starting 13th, driving the number 37 is going to be Jake Raven. That will be tonight's starting grid for Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Cup Series. And again, we've got them all stacked, racked. We're ready to go. The cards have been shown. There's not but one job left to do. It comes down to 100 laps here at Las Vegas. It is Dylan Canova. It is Christian Proctor. Mathematically, everybody else been eliminated. Tonight, we crown a champion. Tonight, one of these drivers marks their names down in the top tier racing history books. Who's it going to be? The pace car's off. We are in the restart zone and the green flag is out. We are underway with the top tier racing Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Cup Series right here at Las Vegas. And contact early between Dylan Canova, Brock Morris. I can tell you there's been a little bit between these two drivers. They are bad fast, both of them respectively. We'll see how this shakes out. Brock very quickly looking to the inside. Dylan Canova right here. The battle's going to be raging on through turns 3, 4. Right now, the high side's going to roll. Dylan's got to be patient here. He's got a championship on the line. He's going to have to be patient. Brock Morris looking. He's going to try to get that run on the bottom. He's not going to get there, though. Up to thirds going to be Christian Proctor. He's keeping an eye on what's hanging out right here in front of him. He can see it. The championship's right there. Back to the front. Dylan Canova's he's gonna continue to lead here. This battle's kind of settled out. Now we're gonna settle in. We're gonna get green flag racing in. Let's go through the field. Here's Kenny Kuko, Nick Raffini right in front of him. Matt Baines back here side by side with Jacob Wilson. Jacob, I suspect, is probably going to throw something at me fuel strategy wise. He likes to do that every single week, and I'm glad he does. It gives me something to talk about. Right now, that middle to high side, for the race fans at home, that middle to high side is dominant right now. There's a lot of good runoff, especially in 1 and 2, that middle to high line. You can see the 72 super loose on exit right there. Let's get through the rest of the field. Jacob Wilson right there is Jaffe in his purple and white number 2 Royalty Motorsports. Davis Shively right behind him. Jorge Ledesma Jr. JD Van Kirk, you can see he's right back here. Robert Altman, and did not start the race. It's going to be Jake Raven. We're going to get back out front. Oh, we got a side-by-side with Jacob Wilson. I'm going to try to keep an eye on all the action here tonight. Jacob peeked out. He's looking. The air just disrupts these cars so much. So I want to get back out front. Let me show you guys this for the race fans at home. I want to show you these bumps down in 1 and 2. Just watch how characteristic. See those bumps? Those bumps just will absolutely upset the race car. Right now, the bottom line through 1 and 2 is going to be the dominant line. The middle to high side had some speed. So Dylan Canova still out front. Again, Christian Proctor has to get past Brock Morris here. He has to get around Dylan Canova. The goal for Christian, lead the most laps. Lead a lap, number 1. Lead the most laps, number 2. You can see he's looking. He's on the inside of Brock Morris here. Brock's just going to clear away, let him go. I believe he is, in fact, going to do just that. He's going to let him go. So move Christian up to second. And for the race fans at home, this is the battle, right? You have Dylan Canova. You have Christian Proctor. They are 1-2 right now as they run. Look at this. This is a beautiful sight, though. You got the first 5 cars, just you can throw a blanket under them, and just a small gap between Kenny and Matt Baines, and then you have another pack, and you can pretty much throw a blanket all over top of these guys back here. My man in the 22, JD Van Kirk. Robert Altman. Nick Ruffini. He had 4th. Kenny's trying to get around him, though. Kenny was 5th. Kenny's taking a peek to the outside. Yeah, I just feel like right now there's speed out there. I don't know how aggressive it's going to be on tires, but I would like to see one of these guys. Here's the thing, right? Like mathematically, everybody right now outside the top 2 is eliminated. Now, with Jake Raven not taking the green flag and still sitting on pit road, it is possible that it is somewhat mathematically over as it is, because Jake would have to go out, log some laps if something would happen to Dylan. However, I would like to see one of these drivers, Kenny or Nick or one of them, just hit the outside, do something different. I feel like there's speed out there. I could be wrong. Right now, the lead's about a half second. Again, I don't know how aggressive it would be. Oh, where are you going? That was Jorge Ledesma Jr. Big bobble there. Jaffe, you're going to give him plenty of room to get back up on the racing surface. It might be too aggressive to hit the outside, right? I mean, it might just burn the tires completely out of it. I don't know. You can see the racetrack's taking rubber, though, right? I want to see. Let's take a look, see how 1 and 2 looks. It's not as identifiable in turns 1 and 2 as it is in 3 and 4 as it is in 1 and 2, but the racetrack is taking. The racetrack's taking on some rubber. We can kind of see it. I saw it earlier. Yeah, right there. See that? See that dark black line right there? That tells me it's burning the right rears off on these cars on the exit. That's the battle for the championship. Dylan Canova, Christian Proctor. It's still early. Here's the thing, right? Now it becomes who can conserve tires. When does the fuel window open? Drafty back after a little bit of a hiatus. Chasing that race car all over the place. Put in Discord, I got to figure out how to drive this car again. Just out there having a lot of fun. The lead was a half second, right about 4/10 to a half second some time ago. Right now, it's stretched itself out to about 8/10. We'll call it 7.5, call it 3/4 of a second. Still no change. Dylan Canova out front, Christian Proctor, Brock Morris. That's going to be the top three. Kenny Kuko, Nick Raffini. This battle's starting to heat up a little bit. Kenny's just not been able to get away from Nick ever since getting around him. Raffini has been right there in the back bumper of that 71 revved up racing machine. Matt Bain 6th, Jacob Wilson 7th, Davis Shively 8th, Jorge Ledesma Jr. 9th. JD Van Kirk has cracked the top 10. Put him inside 10th right now. Put him in the 10th position. Altman and Drafty's back here. I feel like there's something wrong with Drafty's car. Like, he's coming through the corner, and it looks like there's a lot of wheel input in that race car. See that? And he's way off pace. It's almost like there's something maybe going on with his steering wheel. Let's go on board. Let's. Yeah, look at that. Now we'll compare. I didn't see him get into the wall. I want to compare this to the race leader here in just a second. I want to see how much, just watch how much wheel input. It's almost at a full 90 degrees. Look at that. That's past full 90. That car is not turning at all. All right, let's just watch the race leader here. Yeah, not even close to the same. So I wonder, yeah, Drafty's coming to pit road. I didn't see. I mean, I don't see any right front damage or anything on that race car. I don't know. It's almost like it's a wheel issue. Something going on with his steering wheel. I mean, there's no way he bunched the tires off of it 20 laps in. I wouldn't have thought to be that off pace. That's pretty wild. So we'll keep an eye on it. The lead's grown out to about a second. Now Brock Morris has gotten around Christian Proctor. Christian Proctor slowly starting to fade. It's crazy how I just spot those little things for the race fans at home. I spot those little things in when I'm broadcasting, like that deal with Drafty. I spot those things, and then you can see there's Drafty. There comes the race leader. He is some laps down. So now we have hit 20 laps in. Call it 21 now, completing 21, working lap 22. Right now, Dylan Canova's led them all. Again, one thing I can tell you for sure, right, is I know Christian Proctor has to lead the most laps. And if he doesn't get up there to contend and to battle with Dylan and start leading some laps, that bonus point is going to be wiped virtually away. And that's pretty much going to lock Dylan in as champion. We'll keep an eye on it. We have about 30 laps, although Christian has lost quite a bit of track position to Dylan Canova. I'm keeping an eye on the lap times, and right now, virtually these two gentlemen, Brock Morris, Dylan Canova, matching lap times. You got Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko. So Nick has gotten back around Kenny. That means that this tells me the tires are starting to wear. Nick's actually starting to gain a little bit on Christian here. You got Matt Baines, Jacob Wilson, David Shively, Jorge, JD. Slowly starting to catch into the back bumper of the 44 here. Robert Altman. Let me just tell you what fresh tires does for a race car. Right now, Drafty is about a second quicker than the field. So at least a second difference with 4 fresh Goodyears. I'm watching the ticker, and I know the race fans are home and watching the ticker. Brock is slowly starting to reel in Dylan. "25 laps down, 75 laps to go." That race lead has came down from about a second. It's pushing just past about half of a second, give or take. I'm trying to find some battles on the racetrack right now. Everybody's just so spread out. There's just so much between these two, between all these drivers. All right, my man's doing it. Let me switch it up. My man's doing it. Jacob Wilson on pit road, the second one to do it. Drafty came on lap 17. This is 27 laps in. Again, I don't know what these drivers can get in terms of fuel. I don't have any idea, but my man's doing it, so it gives me something to talk about. I can't for sure say that the pit window's open for these drivers, right? I can't 100% say that for sure. Only because Jacob likes to do things in terms of fuel strategy and shake things up and whatnot, and I can't never figure out what he's doing. I get an idea, but it takes several laps for me to get an understanding as to what he's doing. Although, coming in lap 27 tells me that he would come at 50 something, probably 54, 55, and then come again around 80, maybe 75. Not sure. Not sure what he's up to. We'll keep an eye on him, though. We'll see what he does. All right, the lead is stabilized. Again, Dylan actually faster that last time by over top of Brock Morris. Again, Nick has caught the back bumper of Christian Proctor, so this is going to be a battle for third. We'll keep an eye on it. Right now, this is the closest battle we have on a racetrack, and that's going to be between these 3 cars. Christian had that big win last week. I apologize for the fans at home if you heard me blowing my nose. I apologize. Still haven't got over whatever sickness that I had. Here comes the battle, though. I don't think Nick's going to be able to clear here. He's not. Christian's going to get a pretty good run off. I think Nick will be able to clear here, though. He missed the bottom. He needed to roll the bottom a little bit better. He missed it. That's going to allow Christian to really drive off here. This is going to allow Kenny to actually kind of close in a bit on these guys. Kenny's running a completely... This is what I asked for, right? I wanted to see somebody get out there and try it. I don't think he purposely went to go out there. Nick did get the pass done on Christian, though. Yeah, Kenny kind of missed the bottom there too. You can see the racetrack has rubbered up down there in 1 and 2. Now the question becomes, when do you, like, if you're these drivers, when do you move up and past that? That might actually provide a little grip down there. The battle for the race lead is within a half second. It's not really changed too much. We'll keep an eye on it right now. This is the closest battle we have on the racetrack. I'm thinking maybe Jacob has the broadcast turned on. Heard me say that fresh tires was about a second faster. I think Christian's coming to pit road. He is. Yeah, he went low there. Obviously, you can't put the hand out the window, but I'm going to say that he was letting them know, hey, I'm coming to pit road. That allowed Kenny to get to the outside. Dylan Canova also on pit road. That's going to turn race lead over to Brock Morris. So put Dylan on pit road, put Christian Proctor on pit road. Matt Baines, David Shively, JD Van Kirk, Drafty is back down. He's just, I feel like something's going on with his steering wheel. I'm not 100% sure. So Brock's going to run long here. And this is not a bad call. However, the time difference between running long and fresh tires is going to be insurmountable, right? Like, he's got to come this time, and he's not. He's staying out. I just feel like you lose too much time here. I mean, it's over a second quicker. We'll keep an eye on it, right? So Dylan's back out right now. We'll keep an eye on the lap times. 32 flat, call it 31.99, call it 32 flat, that time by. Now, we'll see what Dylan lays down. He was the race leader when we pitted. That'll take me a lap, so we'll know. We'll compare these two laps. So here comes the race leader. Kenny Kuko's down pit road as well. Jorge, Robert Altman, all back down pit road. All right, so let's take a look at Brock's lap time this time here. He's elected to stay out, run long again. I just feel like you lose too much time. So 32.06. 32.06 to Dylan Canova's 31.2. Right? So Dylan's not pushing the car extremely hard. Christian Proctor, here's one that we can compare it to. He's not holding back. 30.48, just laid down the fastest lap of the race, doing exactly what he needed to do. So that there is the one bonus point he needed, right? Just laid down the fastest lap of the race. Now, he has to get to the back bumper, Dylan Canova, and he has to start leading some laps. Right now, Brock Morris is out leading the laps. Now he's on pit road. That's going to turn race lead over to Jacob Wilson. For the scorecards at home, how many laps has Dylan Canova led so far? Does the viewers at home know? Because let's see. He pitted when? Lap 33, and he was leading up till that point. So he's led at least 33. So quite a bit of difference in terms of time, right? It was 32 flat to 30.48. That's a second and a half difference in laps. I want to see if this plays out for Brock. There you can see, there he comes, right? So he's going to have 4 or 5 lap fresher tires than Dylan Canova, right? So he comes out in third, and right now he's some 4 seconds behind. Although Dylan Canova has got to the back bumper of Jacob Wilson. Again, Jacob's on a completely different fuel strategy. Dylan's going to go around. So it's about 33 laps, right? For the race fans at home, Dylan's led about 33 laps. That's by my number. He pitted at lap 33. So he led those 3 laps. The only other leader we had was Brock Morris and Jacob Wilson. And between them two, that's about a 7-lap difference. 6-lap difference. We're working lap 40, just completed 39. So it's mathematically not over right now. Right now, Christian has the fastest lap of the race. That's one of the bonus points he needed. However, the problem is the race leader is a little over 4.5 seconds in front of him. I want to keep an eye on this, though. I want to keep an eye on Brock Morris. Brock was within a half second of Dylan during those, right before the green flag cycle started for pit stops. And he comes out a little over 3.5, almost 4 seconds difference. But he's got 4 to 5 lap fresher tires than race leader does right now. And he's very quickly and rapidly shaving time off. So right now he's about a second behind Jacob Wilson. You can see right there he comes. So we'll keep an eye on it because you can see right there comes Dylan Canova. Right, so there's Dylan, there's Jacob, Brock Morris, Christian Proctor is right here, Nick Raffini, Kenny, Matt Baines, Davis Shively, Jorge Ledesma Jr., JD, Robert Altman. I believe Drafty's loaded his up and feel like he had some sort of mechanical error on his race car, and he just loaded it up, put it on the trailer, put it on the hauler, boys. Send her back home. So Brock has gotten around Jacob. So move Brock up to second. Now the race leads 2.5 seconds. Call it 2.4. Christian's going to get to the back bumper of Jacob here. JD got around Jorge, move him up a spot. He's now P9. I'll keep an eye on this battle right here, though. Yeah, this is just a battle of fresh tires. Right, Jacob came at lap 27. Sorry, 25. Jacob pits at 25. The cars that he's racing around pitted 8 laps later. So the race lead is now down under 2 seconds. Call it 1 3/4. It's just been a stellar season for this man right here, though, doing everything he needs to do to win a championship. Move Raffini back out in front of Jacob. The chrome numbers on the side of that 71 just look so good. Trying to find us some battles. There's just not any. They're so far spread out. So the last couple laps, Brock's been a couple of tenths quicker. The lead's now down under to almost 1 1/4. We'll monitor it this time. We'll see what the difference is. In fact, he was a 1/10.5 quicker that last lap was Brock Morris over top of the race leader Dylan Canova right at the moment. Although he didn't make anything up in turns 1 and 2 there, lead's still staying about the same. Again, about 4 laps difference in terms of pit stops, right? So once the pit stops started, Brock was only about a half second behind the race leader when Dylan decided to pit. Brock decides to run a little bit long there. Now he's trying to shave all that time back off. He made a pretty good advancement there that lap, at least in terms of turns 1 and 2. He shaved about two or so, 0.3 off. Let's see what the difference in lap times was this time. Yeah, 31.38 to a 31.10. It's almost 0.3. Race lead down under a second now. So there comes Jacob, 51, right? So we know his strategy. He's going to pit at probably one more time. He's going to 3-stop this thing, 75. Now, I'm feeling like that's going to be the strategy. We'll see. However, these guys came at 33. I suspect that they'll be back down pit road around 66. My guesses are going to try to run it a couple of laps long, get to 68. And that may be what Brock was doing. Because if Brock ran a little bit longer there, he could come at 74, 75. Definitely knows he can get to the end. Nick starting to catch in on the back bumper of Christian Proctor. Still, is it mathematically possible for him to lead the most laps? However, we're down to 45 to go. Dylan Canova. Here's the battle for the lead, though. We got a good one. Brock has got there. Three wide. This is dangerous. Great job by those three gentlemen, though. Jacob Wilson just laid down the fastest lap of the race, 30.41. So that extra bonus point that Christian had in his back pocket is no longer there. Give it to Jacob Wilson right now. The battle for the lead rages on, though. Again, I suspect to see Dylan back down pit road here, call it in about 12, 13 laps right now. That car's tight. A little bit of contact between these two last week. We heard Dylan say in his interview it was not intentional. Right now, these guys have kept it clean. We'll see how this battle shakes out. Nick has gotten to the back bumper by about 0.2 off of Christian Proctor. Now late in the runs, we're starting to get a little bit of battles. Dylan does this, though. I can tell you this is very Dylan Canova right here. When the tires start to wear off and he starts to get a little bit of pressure, he knows where to put the race car. And it's not surprising to see him to move to the middle of 1 and 2. Little loose there. I think this is going to allow Brock an opportunity. And in fact, it does. That middle run just gets, look at that. That outside just gets such a beautiful run, though. The speed's not there in 3 and 4. He's got to hold the quarter here, though. The low side in 3 and 4 still a little bit better. This battle's heating up. This battle's heating up. Nick Raffini trying to get around Christian Proctor. Dylan gets to run off, though. I got a couple battles. I got the battle for first. I got the battle for third. The battle for the race lead. The battle for third. It's the two closest battles we have. Feel like that was a much better line for the 70 of Dylan Canova right there. I feel like there was a lot more speed off the exit right there. In fact, you can see there was quite a bit of distance put between him and Brock Morris right there. Check back in on this battle right now. Those guys have settled it out front. We'll check back in on it right now. Christian driving it with everything he has behind the wheel of that race car, doing what he can. He knows this is just another battle, another position he's going to have to make up later. Side by side. Raffini's going to sell it off in there. In fact, I think he's going to get the job done, and in fact, he will. So move Raffini up the third. Christian way loose on exit. Was going to try to cross over. He's not going to get there. This battle for the race lead, though, it's raging on. Still, it's been going on for, I'm going to call it, about 8 laps. These drivers have been going back and forth. I got a feeling the pit window is going to start opening up for Dylan Canova here. That's not what he needed. He was really loose. Excuse me. He was really loose on exit right there. I mean, you could just see the car just. That's going to give Brock an opportunity. However, that run off the outside is going to be the better run. They are driving so deep into the corners. Both drivers are. Hats off to Brock Morris. Racing, he knows Dylan's running for a championship. And he's just out here racing clean. He's racing hard. This is the action that we expected to get out of these two. I've kind of seen this coming for the last couple of weeks. And they're just side by side. This is, for the race fans at home, this is a lot of fun. It's good racing. It really is. Again, like I said, this is the closest battle we have on the racetrack right now. See, Raffini has gotten away from Christian Proctor. Jacob Wilson on fresh tires. 64 down, completing 64 here. Once we come back around, we're completing 65 when we come back around. And here it is. That's the completion of lap 65. I always try to mention lap 65. For the race fans at home, it has personal meaning. The number 65 does to me. That was my daddy's race car number, and anytime that I'm calling a race, I try to mention lap 65 just so if he's watching at home, it's kind of my little tip of the hat to him. This is an awesome battle. This is a lot of fun. I don't mean to spend a lot of time here, but I mean, this is the battle for the race lead, and Christian has hit pit road. So the pit window's open for Christian. I'm going to suspect he can get to the end from here. This tells me with Dylan hitting the outside, he's going to stay out on the racetrack one more time. Christian again on pit road. JD's on pit road as well. There he comes. Now I want to see, when does Dylan Canova elect to come to pit road? Brock has kind of laid off a little bit. He's coming to pit road. He's going to try to jump him. Now see, he ran long that last time. Last week it was I think it was last week. It was a pit road speeding penalty, or was it the week before? I can't remember exactly. So Brock ran long the first run, got to the back bumper, kept showing the bumper, his front bumper in the rearview mirror. Nothing do, was not able to make any time. Dylan's going to have to come this time. And in fact, there he comes. Right, so bring race leader down. Now, if this cycles out, here comes Nick Raffini as well. Kenny's going to stay out. Now, if this cycles out just the same that it did the last time, this is going to put it into the hands of Jacob Wilson. He very well could cycle out to be the race leader. Again, I'm not 100% sure. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. We'll see how it shakes out. Kenny's going to run long. Brock Morris is already out on the racetrack, right? So here comes Brock. Dylan's rolling right now. There comes Jacob Wilson. There comes JD Van Kirk. There's Brock Morris, right? So this is going to be the battle for the race lead once this thing shakes out. There goes Brock Morris. They'll be eventually chasing him or Matt Baines. Matt Baines hasn't hit pit road yet, or Kenny Kuko or Jorge Ledesma Jr. However, this is going to be the battle for the race lead, right? It's going to come down. It's going to be, and Brock's gotten around Dylan, right? So there goes Brock. Dylan's back here. So that's the difference. 2 seconds. 2 seconds and some change. So these guys are unlapping themselves. Yeah, you can see that's the difference, right? Matt Baines has hit pit road, so that's going to move Jacob up a spot when Jacob comes through. Actually, Jacob's coming back down pit road. So forget everything I said. So, Matt's on pit road. Kenny and Jorge Ledesma Jr. both have to pit. They've still not hit pit road. They both have to pit. That's going to turn the race lead over to Brock Morris. Right now, he holds about a 3-second lead over top of Dylan Canova. I can tell you for the race fans at home, it is mathematically, in my opinion, right now, it is mathematically impossible for Christian Proctor to make up the points needed to win the championship. And based off those mathematics, Dylan Canova will be this season's champion when the checkered flag flies. We have 2 cars out of the race right now. The worst place that Dylan could finish would now be 11th. It's a point per position. There was 16 points that separated the 2 drivers. It's a point per position. That would only be 11. It would only be 3 points if Christian was to lead the most laps, have the fastest lap, and lead a lap. He would have to lead a lap, lead the most, and have the fastest. I believe that's only going to be 14 points. That's not going to be enough. Dylan Canova will be this season's champion at the checkered flag here in 25 laps to go. Kenny has hit pit road. That's going to turn race lead over to this guy right here, Brock Morris. It's the new race leader in a race that has been dominated by Dylan Canova. The last green flag cycle of pit stops we had, Brock comes 1 lap earlier. That 1 lap earlier is the difference between 2 and some change seconds right now. You can see Brock's in 1 and 2. Here comes Dylan. It's about 2 1/4. And Brock's working through some lap traffic. Now, Jorge and Matt Baines have fresher tires, right? So these guys are trying to unlap themselves. Because these guys just came off pit road. Uh-oh, that was close. That was real close. I seen Matt getting really sideways on exit and really close to the back bumper of that 44. So now the tables have turned, right? It has been Brock chasing the mouse all night long, right? You got the big cat chasing the mouse all night long. There's been Brock chasing Dylan. Now the roles have reversed. A 2.5 difference right now. Call it 1.5. 2.5 difference. Now you got Dylan chasing the mouse. Christian has moved himself up to third. You can see right behind him is Nick Raffini. We'll see if he's able to run back down Christian. Oh. Let's see what happens to Jorge here. Says he went off the racing surface. Let's take a look. See, there he goes. Oh, I tried to exit high and the car just got loose. And just down through the grass he goes. Great job by keeping it under him and not spinning it and wrecking it. You can see the two race leaders has gotten back around them just because of that incident. Race leads down to near a second, though. We'll keep an eye on that. So right now we'll go through the field. Brock Morris leads. Dylan Canova, Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko. That's the top 5. Davis Shively, JD Van Kirk very quietly has moved himself up to the 7th position. He's got a solid run going, does JD. Put him 7th. Matt Baines 8th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. 9th. Jacob Wilson 10th. Robert Altman 11th. Drafty's out of the race. He took his to the hauler. Jack Raven never took a green flag. That's 12th and 13th. Right now we have 20 laps to go in the season finale here. The Tricia's Learning Center's Gen 4 Cup Series. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll call this thing to the end from that point. Welcome back, race fans. 16 laps to go for race leader Brock Morris. Right now, that lead is held steady at about a second. Well, I take a look at the lap times right now. There's only about 0.03 of a second's difference between these two guys laying down these laps. You can see there's Brock there. You can see Dylan right in front of him. Between them is going to be JD Van Kirk. We are coming to 15 laps to go again. At the checkered flag, Dylan will be crowned our season champion. It is mathematically impossible for Christian Proctor to make up the 16 points needed. Well, what a great job. You know, Brock, typically, I guess for some race fans, you could call him a road course ringer, right? I mean, he's dominant on road courses. He comes out, he wins Michigan. Wanted to run a lot more oval stuff. He's been hanging out with some teammates down there. Didn't have all that good of a showing at Bristol. That one's pretty tough. Got caught speeding on pit road, I believe. It was at Charlotte. And then now with 15, call it 14 laps to go, finds himself leading the back half of this race with what was once dominated by Dylan Canova. You got Brock, Dylan, Christian, Nick Raffini's working on catching the back bumper Christian Proctor. This has happened all night long. It's been a trend I've seen from the first round of green flag pit stops. Nick has caught the back bumper of Christian late in these runs. Kenny Kuko currently riding inside the top 5. Davis Shively 6th. Matt Baines 7th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. 8th. JD Van Kirk 9th. Jacob Wilson 10th. Robert Altman 11th. Plenty long weeks. It has been a grueling season. Christian picked up the big win last week. It did the thing again. And I figured out what does that, and I got to exit it out. I get a Steam notification for some reason. And when I get a Steam notification, it alt tabs out my screen. But I don't know why it does that. So 10 laps to go. Raffini's caught to the back bumper of Christian Proctor. Really, right now, the closest battle on the racetrack is Christian and Nick. I mean, the rest of these guys are just so far and spread out. There's another battle. You got Jorge Ledesma Jr. trying to chase down Matt Baines there. Uh-oh. What a beautiful save by Dylan right there. So this battle's a half second, and then you have Jorge Ledesma Jr. and Matt Baines right here at about 3/10. That's the two closest battles we have on the racetrack right now. See if the 44 can get a run on the 72. He's not going to that time. Oh, there's the bumper. That's a caution. With 5 laps to go, that's going to be our green-white checker. You can see it. I don't need to show a replay. The 44 loose on exit. They get down into the corner. Turns 1 and 2, a little bit of contact, upsets the 72. I can tell you the one guy that did not want to see that with 4 laps to go was this guy right here, Brock Morris. Now, who knows why? I suspect everybody's going to come down the pit road. I suspect everybody's going to take 4 fresh Goodyears. I mean, at a second difference in lap time, second and a half different in lap times. I'd almost venture to say everybody's going to come to pit road. This is a tough position to be in if you're the race leader, because if you elect to stay out, for sure everybody else is coming down. But with only 12 cars on the racetrack, I wouldn't see any need for anybody to chance it. Yeah, everybody's coming to pit road, so JD's going to be our lucky dog. So Brock, without a question, will win the race off pit road. Dylan Canova will come out second. Christian Proctor third. Now, that's exactly how they'll line up. Most of everybody else, if they elect not to come to pit road, is going to take a waiver round here. Again, JD was our lucky dog recipient. I believe that's going to put him back on the lead lap. So now he'll pit. So now, stack 'em, rack 'em, do it one more time. I believe this is going to be a green, white checker finish. And in fact, it is. So we'll have a green, white checker finish to end the regular season here on Tuesday night. Yeah, and there goes all the drivers taking the waiver round right there. This is interesting to take the bottom. If Dylan can get a pretty good jump with Brock here, this is going to be interesting. I'm nervous. I don't know about the race fans at home. I can tell you I'm nervous. Brock Morris, Dylan Canova, Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko, David Shively, Robert Altman. JD and them's coming. They got to catch up to the pace car. So the lights is out. We're going to go back green this time. It's going to be a green, white checker finish. I don't think that we've called a green, white checker finish here on Tuesday nights, or at least I don't think I have. So the pace car's off. Green flag is out. Dylan doesn't get a bad start. As if he elects to go to the bottom here, he's going to have a pretty good entry. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Las Vegas. Tricia's Learning Center's Gen 4 Cup Series. Dylan's going to have a run off here as if he elects to go to the outside. He's going to send it on the outside. I don't think he's going to have the run, though. The grip's not there. He sent it. Brock Morris is going to win. Dylan Canova is going to be the champion. Christian Proctor will come home third. Nick Raffini fourth. Kenny Kuko fifth. That's going to be the top five. Davis Shively sixth. JD Van Kirk seventh. Matt Baines eighth. Jacob Wilson ninth. Jorge Ledesma Jr. is going to be 10th. Robert Altman will come home 11th. Dylan sent it. Brock's going to win the race. Dylan's going to win the championship. The driver's going up to congratulate both of these men. What an absolutely amazing job done by the 70. Did everything he needed to do it correctly to win the championship. We get a couple of burnouts. You can see Brock got the pit call right, come one lap sooner. We're going to talk to these gentlemen. Brock's still burning them down. That's going to be a second oval win for him. We're going to stay right here with our champion. He's going to pull it down in front of his pit crew. He's just going to burn them down. We're going to give these guys time to celebrate. Christian, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, you got me?
I got you, Bubba. Well, fell just a little bit short, right? You knew the car count was low. We could tell that. We knew you was going to have to lead the most laps, lead a lap, lead the most laps, have the fastest lap, and then something ultimately to happen with Dylan. Take us through your night, your third place finish, and then ultimately ending up second here in the points to round out the season.
Yeah, man, yeah, I knew coming in I had to sweep the whole race, and I thought I was gonna be a little better at Vegas than I was, but man, I still went out there, had fun, still had a great race. I was kind of hoping there on the green white checker that Brock and Dylan would get into it, and it bumped him back a couple spots, and then it'd possibly give me the win there for the championship, but unfortunately didn't happen. But still went out there and had fun, man.
So take us through the season, right? It was a long, grueling 20 weeks. Take us through the season. You was our regular season champion. And the one thing that I admired about you when I started coming up here and calling the races was the fact that you said, hey, you ain't got to win the races to be the regular season champion. You got to be consistent. Take us through those 20 weeks and then ultimately getting the win last week to really try to position yourself to win a championship. But just take us through the 20 weeks and how grueling the season was.
Man, this car is just a beast. The car's insane. We struggled with setups all season, I feel like. Either the car was super loose or the car was super tight. There was a couple tracks where we had a good happy medium. I felt like the car here was really good tonight. It just pushed a little bit once the tires wore out. Front right was just gone after about 20 laps. But throughout the season, man, I just tried staying consistent. If Brock wasn't here and I won all the road courses, which I finished second in all of them, I feel like I would have had a better shot. It would have been a lot closer in points there at the end. But, man, yeah, I just tried staying consistent all season. That's really it.
Well, listen, congratulations, man, on what's been a tough, grueling 20 weeks. Come home P2 in points. I know it's not what you wanted. You know, you found speed, right? I mean, I watched you get faster through the latter part of the season. You know, you got the big win last week and then finished third here again tonight. But again, I want to say congratulations, man, on that third place and second place in points. Give shout outs to anybody you want to give shout outs to, man. Now's the time to shine.
I just want to thank my team, man. The team owner, Jeremy Gill. I want to thank the team, JD and Shivley, Marty, everybody with Mid Tier Racing. Had fun this season, and I won't be with them next season, I don't think, but we'll see. But I'll still be running in the league, so good to see him on track next season.
Well, again, man, congratulations, and can't wait to see you next season, man.
Yes, sir.
And again, just what an amazing performance Christian had, right? I mean, he was a regular season champion. He found some speed late, got the big win last week, and comes home second in points, third here tonight. It's a great job by him. I'm going to bring up Brock. Brock, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. Long time no see.
Dude, you're a lot of fun to watch. I just want you to know you never cease to amaze me, man. Which I know I can't. Here's the thing, Brock. I can't call you a road course ringer anymore. I just can't. I'm gonna tell you why. Why? Because you won Michigan, and then I can't say you dominated, but you won here in Las Vegas, right? I mean, you got the call right. The pit call come one lap sooner than what Dylan pitted, and I was kind of on the fence about what you was going to do. You ran about 4 laps longer on the first cycle, jumped in 1 lap sooner on the second, and I think that was the ultimate game changer. Take us through your night, man, and what it means to win here in Vegas. Oh, by the way, beautiful looking race car. I want you to know I shouted it out before we started the race, so.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I was very proud of that one. Then shout out my mom. It's my favorite car I've ever made, in her opinion. So, shout out, Mom. Yeah, it was. I knew there was a good chance I was going to be faster in the long run, which seemed to be the case again tonight. And so the first time I went long to see if maybe I could hit the overcut, I got right back up to him, but it's pretty tough to pass here. The bottom and top were pretty even, so I was being patient, not necessarily going to force any issue or anything. But yeah, and I was just like, if I have clean air, I think I'm going to win this. So I just did the slight undercut. I knew he was running close on fuel, so I knew I didn't have a ton of time to do it. So slight undercut, got in front, and I felt like, once the lap time started equalizing, then I felt like I was home free until that green, white checkered, which I'll be honest, scared the crap out of me. But I was worried it was going to be Denny Hamlin Phoenix 2025, but that's not what happened. And I'm very happy about that.
I legit go as soon as I see the caution. In fact, I was watching it live. So what caused the caution? So when you go back and watch the broadcast, you'll be able to see it. And then I quickly jumped to your car, and I'm like, the one guy that did not want to see that caution with 4 laps to go was Brock Morris. So yeah, I've been in that situation. I get it. Yeah. So you win Michigan. We know you're fast on road course. You win Michigan. You come out. You win tonight. It's been a learning curve with the car. I've heard you say, and then just a learning curve in general, right? Putting in the time, etc. Do you have plans to race full time next season?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
I do have plans. So I'm looking forward to it. I've never done the Xfinity car. So that will be a learning curve, but if it's anything like this car, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm pumped for you. I love the paint scheme. It looks great. Another big oval win for you here in the Top Tier Racing League, the Tricia's Learning Center Gen 4 Series. I know you want to shout out Mama. I know you want to shout out Corn Dog Designs, man. Now's the time to shine on this race win here in Las Vegas.
Yes, sir. First we'll start with my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. They like to watch these back afterwards. So, yeah, shout out to them. We got this car in Victory Lane. Corn Dog Designs. I think throughout the season I'll have to check, but I don't know how many wins Corn Dog Design cars had, but it was a lot. So, I'm not saying they make you faster, but there is a correlation. Got to shout out the Revved Up guys. I've been hanging out with them all season. Going to continue to hang out with them next season. Got to shout out those guys because they're just helping me with the oval stuff. I help them with the road course stuff, and I feel like I've vastly improved in the ovals in the past however long I've been running pretty much full time. Got to shout out Juicy Spider, Highside Podcast, Kettering Esports, and thank you for putting it on. Kenny and all the admins, thank you for putting on this season, and I look forward to seeing you guys in February.
Hey man, I'm looking forward to seeing you right back here on Tuesday nights. Again, congratulations on that win. The car looks amazing. By far one of my most favorites I've seen you have out here on the racetrack. And again, I can't wait to see you in February, man. Congratulations on the win here in Vegas.
All right, thank you.
That is our race winner, Brock Morris, and just what a phenomenal job. I mean, he's found speed on the ovals. And he's just been fun to watch over the past several weeks. And without further ado, I want to bring in our season champion. And I'm going to go ahead and drag him up here. But Dylan Canova survived 20 races, conquered the playoff pressure, and executed when it mattered the most. And he claims the title of series champ. Dylan, it's Brandon in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Brandon.
I brought you up here early because I wanted you to hear that. When you hear that, Dylan, what's that mean to you?
Oh, it means a ton, especially to go back to back. I mean, that's huge. I think the first repeat champion in the league. So it means a lot. I know all the admins and everybody put a ton of work into this stuff, so we have a place to race on Tuesday. So it means a lot to be the champion and be kind of the the spearhead to the league. I think you represent the entire league everywhere you go as the champion.
So take us through, because I've got a few questions I'm going to ask you. So this is probably going to be a little bit lengthy of a conversation for me and you. I always enjoy our conversations. I want to start with tonight, though. You come in, when you look at the car count, I knew it was going to be close, right? Something would have had to have happened to you. And then Dylan or Christian would have had to have done everything, right? Lead a lap, lead the most laps, all those things. And so take us through the night. You had the dominant car early, just got undercut on pit road. I believe that was the kind of the flip-flop factor. The dirty air, I think, much like Brock said in his interview, was kind of the deciding factor there. And then that green-white checker finish. Take us through the night and here at Vegas that ultimately landed you P2.
Yeah, I mean, the car fired off good. I think we were probably the fastest on the short run, which has kind of been the strong suit all season in this car. I got to give credit to Brock. He's got this car figured out, especially over the long run. He's just really good at saving the tires. I don't know what he's doing, what trick he's doing. I tried a couple of different things. I think we got a little bit better right there at the end, and then got caught behind a couple lap cars and dirty air, and that kind of set us up to finish P2. So obviously I got to give credit where credit's due. He's got this car figured out. I'm personally glad we're going on to the next car, and not my favorite car. It wasn't too bad. I just don't think it was as racy as some of the other cars can be, especially with the draft adjustments and aero changes that made the car a little tight. But yeah, we fired off good. We were just kind of able to manage. He could get to about half a second, and then the dirty air would just dump on the nose, or I guess technically be off the nose. The nose would be up in the air, or however it's set up in this car right now. And he couldn't really get any closer than that. Then we had a great side-by-side battle there for, 15 laps in that middle part of the race. So that was a lot of fun, real clean, had a great time there. And just the undercut, we didn't quite have enough tire advantage to reel him back in. And then obviously a 2-lap shootout is tough in the dirty air. I found something in that last lap in turn 1 and 2 and closed up a massive chunk down the back straight away, and just I think I fired it up a little bit too early in 3 to even have a shot, but I don't know if it would have necessarily mattered or not. I should have went to the top both laps in 1 and 2 and maybe tried to be a little bit closer that second lap.
So 20 weeks, Which, by the way, I caught that. I was like, yeah, Dylan's got a really good run through the middle of 1 and 2 here, and you could watch that gap close. Take us through 20 weeks, man. It's been a grueling 20 weeks. There's been some highs, some lows. One of the ones that stands out to me, I've only been here for the last 8 weeks. One of the ones that stand out to me was Road America. That was a really up and down, very just gut-wrenching, emotional type of night where it would go right, it would go wrong. Just take us through the 20 weeks overall and how grueling the season was with this car.
Yeah, so we obviously started a little bit behind the 8 ball right off the bat. I think we missed the first. Texas was the first race I actually got to register for after a hiatus and coming back. So the first race with Texas had all kind of issues. Didn't get actually to turn a lap until there was 12 to go. So we finished dead last, like almost 90 laps down there. So then we had to call back. I figured, we came off of winning 5 in a row or 4 in a row or whatever it was in the Gen 6. So I was like, okay, we should be good. Got back in. And I think the first real race I got to run was Kansas. We were out in left field, so far off. Had no idea what the car wanted, what it was doing. And I was killing the right front tire. So I spent quite a bit of time after that race kind of going over, my telemetry and comparing it to the guys that were running up front and what I did different. We came back for Indy and almost won it. So that kind of started the roll. And then obviously the regular season, we were able to get enough points and secure wins to where we were the point leader coming into the playoffs. And then, Road America, I think, obviously I hate last week, got in the Brock. Feel terrible about that. Obviously we've raced clean a ton together. So I hated last week. We were able to rebound for second, kind of minimize the damage there as far as us. But Road America was definitely the wild card coming in, and that race did not start good. I think at one point we were way behind, looking at like we'd be locking into a top 7 or 8. I was like, this is going to be a huge point swing. Came in to the pit stop and just put my head down. Kind of said, you know what, we, got to focus forward. Can't worry about the first half of the race. Just got to focus on the second half. And we're able to call back and, get the 2 for 1 on Nick and Kenny on the last lap and end up 4th and kind of salvage the points. So, but that race definitely started off a little nerve wracking. And I thought the championship was going to flip upside down because, when you have a 15-point lead, it's a lot more comfortable. The nerves aren't quite as bad. You go into Bristol with a 5-point lead or less, and you could psych yourself out, make a mistake, and next thing you know, you're the one chasing.
Well, look, it's been a grueling 20 weeks. You did everything you needed to do. We can now call you 2-time season champion or series champion. Give those shout outs, man. I know you got some people you'd like to thank, people you want to shout out, and I don't want to hold you any longer, man. I want to let you go celebrate. So give all the shout outs you can give, man.
Oh, you're good, man. I'm having fun up here. Everybody, all the admins in the league that, like I said earlier, give us this place to race, man. Without them, I'd be somewhere else on Tuesday nights trying to find another group to race with. So, big shout out to all the admins. You for putting on the amazing broadcast every week, and Royalty Racing Network for being the platform for the season. Tricia's Learning Center for sponsoring the league. Everybody over at Hyperspeed that kind of took me on board. Revved Up was full for our primary team during the season, so it was a blast getting to know those guys. And I believe we secured the team championship this year for them. So that's big. Congratulations to Jake as the team owner. And then all the fans out there that come watch these races every week and, hang out with us for, an hour and a half, whatever the races take. Then all the drivers who showed up. I wish we had a little bit more at the end of the season, but, thank you to everybody that's coming out and, putting cars on the racetrack. And then obviously everybody over at Revved Up, Victory Fuel, Ford by Dennis, the No Name, Circle W Farms, and all my teammates back there, Nick, Jorge, Kenny, Brock, Jacob, Alex, and just everybody over there at Revved Up that back home.
Well, once again, man, congratulations on securing your second championship, going back to back here in the Top Tier Racing League. Go celebrate, man, and I'll see you when we fire up for I think season 5 coming up.
I believe so. Yep, season 5 in the O'Reilly car now, I guess is what it's called.
I will see you when we fire up for the next season, man.
Hopefully to get some more interviews next season.
Absolutely. And that is your series champion. And again, I've got the updated points. They've been posted, and right there they are. You can see Dylan Canova will wrap up the championship. Christian Proctor, Nick Raffini, Kenny Kuko, Matt Baines. That's going to round out the top 5. And then you have Jorge Ledesma Jr., JD Van Kurt, Jake Raven, Robert Altman, David Shively, Nick Baum, Zach White. That's going to be your playoff drivers. Jacob Wilson, Brock Morris, Shane Weldon, Drafty, Alex Anderson, Jeremy Gill, and so on. You can see the rest of the points right there. And in fact, you heard Dylan mention it. I can tell you that Hyperspeed Motorsports did in fact locked up the team points as well. So congratulations to them. Kenny, you're muted. I have Kenny Kuko up in the booth with me. Kenny, fantastic job, man. Here at the Top Tier Racing League. I wanted to get you up here. I didn't know if maybe you wanted to make mention what the plans is for next season. Didn't know if you wanted to thank, sponsors. Whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate giving me the moments here to talk. But yeah, so for just wrapping up this season 4 with the Gen 4, I think Tricia's Learning Center. That is actually my mom, and she owns a daycare center, and she really pitched in to be our title sponsor this season. So I got to give her a big shout out. And then all of our contingency sponsors. So like myself, Drafty, JD, Proctor, I'm sure I'm missing some of the Revved Up guys. They pitched in quite a bit. But yeah, thanks to, all those guys for supporting this series and allowing us to do some pretty generous payouts. Like Dylan is $95 richer today now that he's won his championship. So none of that's possible without all those people. And then looking forward, we're going to be moving for season 5 to the Xfinity car, and we'll be starting that up in February, and we'll be following the Xfinity schedule, and we'll race the following Tuesday. So the real Xfinity race will be on Saturday, and then we'll be at the virtual speedway on Tuesdays, which I think is really cool because you can use the whole week to run officials or whatever to get practice. We're going to be doing just iRacing fixed setups. So be a pretty level playing field, and everyone will have the opportunity to practice with the real track conditions and all that. So I think that'd be cool. And just to follow the Xfinity schedule, I think is pretty awesome. Well, O'Reilly Auto Parts schedule. It's pretty cool. And then we're going to try starting next Tuesday, running a recruitment series, trying to get more guys in. Our goal is at least have 25 full-time drivers. That way we're not having, 13 cars on the track. We want it a little bit more exciting for the people watching. So we're going to work hard in this off season to get our numbers up, and then hopefully we'll hit the ground running in February. And then, we'll be moving networks for broadcasting, but obviously you'll be still at the helm of that. And so looking forward to working with you guys more and continue to bring a great product for our fans to watch. So yeah, we got a lot of work to put in the off season, but we'll get it done and hopefully have a good product for our people to watch.
Listen, man, congratulations to all the admins here. It's been a fantastic run over the last 8 weeks for me. I've enjoyed what we've got to see. I've briefly, got to have conversations with you about some things, and it's just been a lot of fun. So tip of the hat to you guys, man, and looking forward to season 5 here in February and bringing the O'Reilly car.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great car, one of my favorites on the service, so should be fun.
All right, Bubba, I won't hold you any longer, man. Go do your thing, dude, and just reach out to me whenever you need me.
Right on, Brandon. Hey, I appreciate you, man. And thanks for these last 8 weeks with us. You've been doing great, man.
I appreciate you, Bubba. Thank you.
Yep, see you, man.
And that is League Admin Kenny Kuko. And again, it's just been an amazing 8 weeks. I've had a lot of fun here on Tuesday nights, and you heard him. I am going to be coming back right back here on Tuesday nights when we start back up in February. On behalf of Kenny, Top Tier Racing, we want to say thank you to all of our series sponsors. Tricia's Learning Center for the title sponsor here in the Gen 4 series. I want to say congratulations to Dylan Canova for our Season 4 champion. Congrats to him. And enjoy the offseason. We'll see everybody right back here on Tuesday nights in the Top Tier Racing League. Invite your friends over. If you know iRacers, etc., invite them over. We're going to the O'Reilly car. What was formerly known as the Xfinity car. We're going to the O'Reilly car to start Season 5. You heard Kenny talk about it there. So invite everybody over again. We'll see everybody back in February when we kick off Season 5. Everyone have a good, wonderful night, and we'll see you in February.